Divorce. Beheaded. Die. Divorce. Beheaded. Survived. And tonight we are live.
Hello and welcome to Chuck's Culture Channel, your YouTube stop for lively conversation on the lively arts in St. Louis and beyond. And my guest today is Hailey Lewis. She is a singer, dancer, and actress who is part of the current tour of Six the Musical. The Boleyn Tour, as it's called, is appearing in many cities in the USA and Canada. She's going to be here in St. Louis with the tour January 21st through February 2nd. To find out when and where Six is going to be in your town, check out the video description field below. Six is a high-energy rock musical in which the six wives of Henry VIII finally have their say in a show that mashes up rock, hip-hop, Latin, and pop ballad elements to produce a witty, inventive, and tuneful remix of Tudor history. Hailey is the alternate for the roles of Henry's first wife, Catherine of Aragon, marriage annulled, fourth wife, Anne of Cleves, ditto, and the tour's namesake, second wife, Ann Boleyn, annulled and beheaded. And as if that weren't enough, she's also the show's dance captain. What does a dance captain do exactly? Well, you'll find out right after this bit of video.
Divorce. Beheaded. Die. Divorce. Beheaded. Survived. And tonight we are live. Listen up and let me tell you a story. Welcome to the show, to the history mix. Switching up the flow as we add the prefix. Everybody knows that we used to be six wives, but now we're ex-wives. You must think that I'm crazy. You wanna replace me, baby? There's no way. Get down, you dirty rascal. Get down. You can build me up, you can tear me down, you can try, but I'm unbreakable. We're one of a kind, no category. Too many years lost in history. We're free to take our crown and glory for 9, 5, 3, 2, 1 more minute. We're six.
What do you do as a dance captain? What is the job?
Yeah, so as a dance captain, I am responsible for knowing all of the choreography in the show, all of the spacing in the show, and then maintaining the integrity of the choreography as well as the intention based off of what the original choreographer said. So the OG choreographer of the show is Carrie-Anne Henry, who's amazing. And then she has an amazing dance team of associates and resident choreographers. And I work closely with Taylor McMahon. And yeah, I keep in touch with her, let her know how the dance is going in the show. I do a weekly show watch every Tuesday. I watch the show, I take notes, make sure that everybody's in their correct lighting, making sure everybody's safe on stage with all the fast transitions, and then making sure that we look cool while also telling the story. So in our show, we have a lot of grooves, making sure that we're keeping up on those while also staying real to the story that we're trying to tell.
Yeah, for all you out there watching this, if you haven't seen Six, there is a lot of choreography, a lot of dancing, and a great deal of highly precise movement in this show. So yeah, you said something that I was thinking about. You said that you had to make sure the spacing was correct. Now I'm thinking this must be a challenge since you're going between theaters with different size stages, right?
Yes, it is. It is a challenge. It's fun because each space comes with, its own different challenges. But our team is really great. Our onstage queens and our alternates, everybody is very spatially aware, so that every time we hit a new deck, most for the most part, everything looks really great. But yes, there is little mini adjustments we have to do in each space based off of what the theater is giving. So.
Have you worked closely with the choreographer as well as some of her people?
Carrie Ann, I only met her once and she was so lovely. I would love to meet her again. She's from the UK, but I work closely with Taylor McMahon, who is one of our resident choreographers, and she and I are always in communication. She comes and does visits to make sure, like little cleanup visits, and she and I work together quite a bit.
Okay. Um,
Yeah.
that sounds like a lot of work. Where did you find time to understudy?
It's all about balance and, lots of different hats and knowing when to, put on the dance captain hat, when to take it off and put on my alternate hat. And, I've been doing this show for over a year now because I was also a part of the Toronto production. So I've learned a healthy balance of making sure that I'm looking out for everybody else as dance captain while also looking out for myself, so that I'm making sure that I am also doing well when I go on for my tracks. So I wear my dance captain hat, but then I also take it off and practice and make sure that I'm ready to go at any time for my tracks.
Wow. So at this point, this show must be really in your bloodstream then, I would think, if you've been with it that long.
Yes, it is. But then, as an alternate, like going between the different tracks, there are times where it does get me and I'm like, oh no, where am I going? What line am I saying? But for the most part, I do know the show really well.
I mean, as an alternate, how often do you end up actually subbing for one of the other actresses?
It depends. It depends. Like in November, one of our onstage queens was out on injury for I think 3 weeks. So myself, yeah, which was a bummer, but thankfully she's okay. She was smart. She took the time off to recover and heal rather than pushing through. So myself and another alternate were on for 4 shows every week for about 3 weeks. But then you could go months without touching a track, so it all depends on how the queens are feeling, if they have personal days or vacation. But as alternates, we're always rehearsing off stage to make sure that we're ready to go at any time.
Wow, yeah, because I was going to say that must be a challenge to keep it fresh if you haven't done it for 6 weeks and suddenly one night, bang, you're on.
Yeah, it could be months. You could, there's been alternates in the six universe, as we say, that haven't gone on in like 4 months, and then they have to go on for that queen. So we're always rehearsing, making sure that it's fresh in our brains.
What kind of training qualifies a person to be a dance captain? Because this is something that's kind of specific.
Yeah. I think, for myself, I grew up dancing. I started dancing at the age of 3 and did like dance competitions, dance exams, and that was my main focus. So I would consider myself a dancer first out of the three areas. But I think, it's also how well you do in your audition, what you show the team in the dance call. They can usually kind of suss out who would be a good dance captain. And it's not always who's the best dancer, it's who is mindful, who's going to look out for the team, who is organized, who is good at maintaining things, so it's not always the top dancer in the group. It's a bunch of different things that can lead you to be a dance captain.
So it sounds like you have to have a good organizational skills. You have to be kind of a leader of people.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, a leader for sure.
yeah, and that's not always found in one person. Um, Final question. Actors, of course, we have our scripts, our printed words. Singers, we have our music. But how do choreographers notate?
Yeah, everybody is so different. I grew up, my mom is also a dance teacher. So I grew up with her writing out like very specific, detailed choreography. Some people don't write down at all. I have some dance friends that it just all lives in their brain. I can kind of do that. For this show, we have different apps that we use. Like we use an app called Stage Right app, which is so awesome for spacing so that you can have a map of the stage and then block out all your little characters. And then in the text box, you can write, pivot turn on the right foot or whatever the choreography is, but it's so different for everybody. I like to be as detailed as I can so that when I go back to my notes, I'm like, okay, I'm stepping forward on my right and turning over my left shoulder. But some people might be like, whip my body around the corner, but that for them, they know what that means. So we all have different language that we use to notate dance, which it can also be challenging as a dance captain because you have to be able to then relay that information to people in different ways that make sense for them.
Yeah. So there's a degree of ambiguity there that's not really present in this the written word. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. 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 But we also label certain steps. Like I said, we have grooves in this choreography. So a certain move is called the alf because that's what it is in like historical dance term. So then it becomes easier to be like, okay, let's go from the alf step.
Okay. That's fascinating, and I think this gives people a great look into a part of making a show work that they might not be aware of
Yeah.
outside. So, uh, again, I have seen this show. I think it's a terrific show. Everybody out there, if you get a chance, when Six comes to your town, go see it. The idea of a musical based on the six wives of Henry VIII may not strike you as a really fun time at the theater, but boy, let me tell you, it is. And the cast and crew and the dance captain have a lot to do with it. So if you get a chance, go see it. Check the video description field down here where I have information on where the show is appearing and when. Hailey, thanks so much for taking a few minutes to talk with me today.
Thank you.
Okay, and you have a great week and a great run, and we will see you here in St. Louis shortly.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
We're one.